Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video, we're going to be talking about supports and just how free-to-play friendly the concept is. Now, I bring this up because Legends just recently gave us 1,000 Chrono Crystals to upgrade our sports. Their message is literally, here's 1,000 Chrono Crystals, go upgrade those sports. Now, obviously, a lot of people will use these to summons, which you should do, by the way. But I'm going to actually use them to upgrade the sports. And I want to talk a little bit about upgrading sports and the concept, right now at least, of what we know and what could possibly come in terms of upgrading sports. So, upgrading sports is pretty simple. Once you get the sports, you go to the shop, you go to the Chrono Crystal shop, and you have an option to literally buy levels for the sports. You can then refresh it with rare medals if you want to, or wait till the next day or a bit later to buy more. It's 100 Chrono Crystals per level. You need 114 in total for each character, which means you need 11,300 Chrono Crystals to fully upgrade your character, excluding the first one that you get, which is obviously the copy that you get from the summons. So 11,300 Chrono Crystals. But how much is that in terms of raw upgrades? Well, the difference between the baseline support is 2,500 of a stat to 10,000. So that's 7,500 in two different stat categories, or roughly about 2% for a character, which is a decent amount. It's like almost 3% for some stats. For me, obviously this isn't something crazy. If you're free to play, should you invest in this rather than a new character? No. You should never upgrade supports over getting a new character. But as someone who's playing at the top level, who whales out, this is absolutely crucial. And this is the market they're targeting. It's the people who are in God rank, it's people who are in top rank, it's people who are top tier players. These are the people who suffer the most, because these fine percentages when you're running all red star lineups or multi-red star lineups, or your two skilled players playing against each other, all of these fine margins matter a lot, and it's that's crucial. Now, bear in mind that the supports gain their stats front loaded. So in terms of the raw stats, a support will have all the stats that they need by level 30. So you're not spending 11,000 Chrono Crystals to get all their stats up to 30 to max. You are just spending about 3,000, which is still a lot. It's the skills that upgrade though from that point onwards, and these upgrades are very, very, at least at this point in time, not substantial. For example, Tende goes from a 5% heal to a 15% heal. This is not bad, but it's not game breaking. And the same with Yajirobe. But the future, as always with Legends, how they were only ever going to have very select ultras. Now they have about 10 game breaking ultras a year. Supports will progressively become more and more OP. In terms of the raw stats, if that remains the same, it won't be such a huge issue, because getting a support to level 30 is not too hard. Of course, you'd rather spend 3,000 on summons, but ultimately at the end of the day, getting them to 30 is not the end of the world. But the skills, if the skills start to progress out of capacity, then it's really going to be super difficult for free-to-players, because people are adding in not just 15% heals, but people are adding in potentially 50% heals, or extra revives, or combo breaks, or paralyzers, or stuns, or anything like that, or key reduction, etc. It's going to be a huge problem to try to be able to counteract those, because the skills actually are the most expensive component of the support to upgrade, because you have to limit break them, and that requires you to get them very high level, which is only going to be a whale based thing. Even getting to level 30 is going to take a free-to-play character forever, because you have to do it naturally through summons, or you'll have to just slowly acquire them every now and then when you got a spare chrono. So really, supports are, I would say, not even remotely free-to-play friendly, obviously, but I think definitely they can very, very quickly head down the path of being dangerously pay to win. So yeah,